Welcome back to Talladega. The Spanish language version of today's race is presented by ESPN Deportes. To access, use the SAP function on your television. All about high speeds and high risks and high drama on the high banks of Talladega. Glad to have you with us at the world's fastest stock car facility. Folks, buckle up and hold on as Tony Stewart and Mike Bliss will lead him down side by side. NASCAR's finest about to be turned loose here at Talladega. This is a 117-lap race, 312 miles, but right now these drivers got to be thinking about that weather is threatening, and a lot of guys believe we may be racing to the lap 59 mark at halfway.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to waste much time getting into the racing mode right here. That's what this promotes, this type of racetrack. These cars are very, very equal, and we're going to see just who really understands the draft today, Andy.
Yeah, with that threat of weather shortening the race, you might not see a lot of these guys taking their time and being as patient as we'd normally see if they felt like they had the whole race to work themselves into position. And you see these guys trying to line up on the inside, and it looks like they're getting a little bit of an advantage.
Looking back at the 88 car, we were talking this morning about who could be some of the sleepers here today. And DJ, you said this kid, Brad Keselowski, could be one to watch.
Yeah, this young man's been very impressive so far this year. He has a fast race car. We saw that in practice the other day. And I really believe that he's learned enough already about this drafting. And he has a good boss to learn from, too. Now, I'm sure he and Dale Jr. have sat down and talked about this very thing.
18 car backsliding there, lost out of the draft. That is Kyle Busch.
He's got his hand out the window like he may have some kind of problem. He wants to go to the back and try to get out of this group for some reason. You can see his hand out the window waving to these guys so they can just get around him. And it looks like, see right there, his hand's out there. He must have some kind of problem.
Yeah, it's certainly not his style to drop back. You know, we wouldn't expect that, but you just don't know. It may be a situation that he feels comfortable in doing that. Maybe it's a pit window type situation that they want to save a little fuel at the beginning. You just don't know what these guys have in mind, so we'll be checking on that.
Up front, the 20 car, his teammate Tony Stewart. 38 is Leffler. Then comes Keselowski and his boss right behind him, the 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Let's see these two teammates working together and see if they can get by these Toyotas. Boy, get a big bump out of the 88 into Jason Leffler to the 38.
More on Keselowski, Mike.
Well, Doc, I had an interesting conversation with his crew chief, Tony Uri Sr. this morning. He reflected a little bit back on his days with DEI. He said in the early days, Dale Earnhardt Sr. would have a meeting, kind of an informal meeting on Monday nights, just at a picnic table, shooting the breeze. They used to call it Monday Night Thunder. During one of those informal conversations, Dale Sr. revealed the many secrets of restrictor plate racing. Those secrets, Tony Uri says, he has incorporated into the body of this particular race car. There's secrets he used at DEI that allowed that team to dominate at places like Talladega over the years, and he expects that'll help Keselowski today. Dave?
Mike, must be some good secrets at Braun Racing as well. Talk to the guy who manages both the 32 team for Denning Hamlin and the 38 of Jason Leffler. That is Todd Lose, who used to crew chief these cars. Asked him if they changed anything after they qualified third at Daytona earlier this year. He said nothing. They qualified third again. They just need to close the deal. They've started their restrictor plate races well. They need to finish them well. Doc?
There's a look at the Toyota camp there for Jason Leffler, the 38 car, as Leffler hanging on Paul Wolfe, the crew chief there calling the shots. And guys, the 5 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got up high in the draft and just went backwards.
Yeah, you could see it. Actually, as Mike Massaro started on there, you could hear Junior come out of the throttle a little bit right but in the tri-oval, and he was trying not to get too much on to Brad Keselowski there. And when he did, he had to go ahead and kind of pull out. I think he felt like he had a big enough push from behind, but that wasn't there at that time. And this is what happened. We'll see him back up towards the front here in just a minute.
It seems to me like there's a little something going on because usually that high lane is good at Talladega. Right now, we see anybody that goes in that high lane is going straight back.
More on Earnhardt Jr. from Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, over the radio, Dale Earnhardt Jr. spotter just came over and said, don't worry, help is a-coming. Now, I spoke with Chad Walters, crew chief, this weekend, and he told me that this weekend has been as seamless on a super speedway as it possibly be. He said that they've been happy with their car since the moment they rolled off the track. In fact, they didn't even attend final practice this week. He said they have an unfair advantage here this weekend, and that is what they call the E-gene. And that, of course, is for Earnhardt.
Exactly, Shannon. You saw Earnhardt make that move. Looked like the 6-car David Reagan had thrown an anchor out where Earnhardt went by him in the draft, trying to get a little drafting help to get that high line back where he wants it to be.
Wow, you see these guys really jockeying for position, and I think if these guys could get organized in that outside lane, it would start coming back to the front.
Yeah, it usually, the first couple of laps of the race, the bottom side is the shortest way around, and so these other cars can get lined up and get themselves in order there and stay that way for a couple of laps. Then they can start marching back towards the front. But they all seem pretty eager right now. They're not really being patient with one another, and it's going to be more difficult for them to line up and come back towards the front of the pack.
Little bit of contact there. Marcus Ambrose in front of the 5 cars. They have lost about 18 or 19 positions. There is Earnhardt Jr.'s onboard camera. He is a 6-time winner at Talladega, 5 times in the Cup car and once in the Nationwide cars. You saw good move by Stephen Wallace, 66, to make the pass.
How about Morgan Shepherd coming up behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. here in this 89 car? Great run for Morgan. Look at these guys, man, coming up that outside lane, 3-4 wide.
That's why the fans love it here. 3 wide, over 188 miles an hour, inches apart. And look, Tony Stewart's not that far ahead of him.